I lived in New York City. I was born in the same city that my mother was born in, the same city my father was born in, the same city my children were born in. We moved around 3 square blocks for 20 years of my life. It was a nice apartment. It was safe. We went to school 2 blocks away. We had a synagogue 6 blocks away. I had a bunch of friends. Most of them are not in jail, but a few of them, you know, that happens. I had an older brother who was not as athletic as I like to be, and a younger brother who was not as athletic, but I liked to play sports. It was great being the middle child. No one paid any attention to me, and I just grew up. I used to go out in the rain. My mother said, "Look, what kind of person goes out in the rain?" I said, "So it's raining, so what? So what?" You know, nowadays it's very nice to say, well, my mother gave me this problem and my father gave me this problem. But my dad was very nice. He worked a lot. And Dad worked. The idea, well, did you not work on Shabbos? No, he worked on Shabbos. He worked on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturdays, and some days he worked on Sunday. And my mom raised 3 children, and she also was a substitute teacher. So they were terrific, but they weren't always around. And in a sense, that was good for me too, because I could live my own life. They weren't there to nudge me every minute to do this. She was not a tiger mom. My mother's a terrific baker. But cooking takes a lot of time, and she didn't spend a lot of time on making food. But my mother used to make all kinds of cookies, and she used to make all kinds of icing on the things. It was fun. When I was a kid, football was not nearly as important, and basketball was not important at all. The sport was baseball. We didn't get a formal allowance. Every once in a while, when I was really rich and I had 70 cents in my pocket, I took a subway for a nickel to sit in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium for 60 cents, and I had a nickel to come home, took sandwiches in a paper bag, and went to a doubleheader sitting in the bleachers. Joe DiMaggio was my hero for so many years, and we were at a golf tournament. Joe DiMaggio was one of the celebrities playing in the tournament, so Miriam went to the head of the tournament, and she asked him if he could arrange for me to meet Joe DiMaggio. And they took a picture, the one that's hanging in my office to this day. Starting in the Second World War, there was a draft in America. I served after the Second World War and after the Korean War, but there still was a draft. And a boy had to spend either 2 years as an enlisted man, but if you had a college degree or a master's degree, you could apply to officer candidate school and become an officer. So I decided I would give it an extra year, and I went to OCS in Newport, Rhode Island, and became a naval officer. When I became a naval officer, my mother came to me and said, "Would I please come to synagogue on Yom Kippur in my Navy white uniform?" They used to post 90-day wonders. You take a boy off the street, and in 90 days, you make him an officer and a gentleman. When you're made an officer, that you are made an officer by the President of the United States, and you are considered an officer and a gentleman. I said, "Mom, I'm embarrassed. I mean, it's just." She said, "Please." And when your mother says please, so the morning of Yom Kippur, when everybody's wearing white, I put on my white uniform, and everybody, oh, and I remember going to shul that day. But if you'd like, I'll show you my movies. The first 6 months after I met your grandmother, we used to sit every night and admire my movies. She loved them, I loved them more. But it was wonderful. It was wonderful. While I was still in the Navy, I interviewed at Macy's, got a job. I got out of the Navy on a Friday, came home Saturday, got ready for work on Sunday, called Miriam, whose name I had gotten. Sunday and Monday I started at Macy's. A college classmate of mine called me and he said, "David, I was at a Halloween party, and I'm married." He was already married, and he said, "Really nice looking girl there." He said, "Why don't you call her when you got home?" So we met on a Monday night, and my mother waited up for me, and I got home probably 11:30 or 12 o'clock. And Mom said, "How was it?" I said, "Terrific, terrific." She said, "What's so terrific?" She said, "It's great, girl. Tell me about it." She's great. "What's so great about her?" She said, "What'd you talk about?" "Well, we talked about me." She said, "Well, What'd you talk about? I talked about the Navy, I talked about my future, I talked about what I'm doing, I talked about my new job, I talked about everything. Well, tell me about her. I said, well, we didn't talk about her. She said, then what's so great about her? I said, what's greater than a good-looking girl with a great shape who talks about me? That was our first date. And you want to know, you're probably going to ask me how we decided to get married. How we decided to get married. You know, it was very romantic. I just couldn't climb 5 flights of stairs anymore. And my mother said, you're going to marry her. But right away, my mother's got an opinion. Everybody has an opinion about my life. Nobody proposes. That proposing stuff is strictly for the movies. What you do is, if you're dating a girl who lives on the 5th floor, it's decision time. Do you want to climb the rest of your life? Or do you want to get married and put yourself out of your agony? So we got married. Well, my name is not Gulliver, but I have traveled a bit.
Yeah.
I traveled, starting to travel when I was a naval officer. And our ship traveled mostly to the Mediterranean, but up to England. And I love to travel. And I love to always see new places to see how different people do things. Now, when I married Miriam, Miriam is very involved. And we got to love Israel. And I love Israel because Israel made me proud, because they were tough. They were not afraid. And I had been a naval officer, and I was not afraid. So I used to like to go to Israel. We went to Israel with Miriam, and then we went to Israel with our kids, and then we went to Israel with our grandchildren. You remember that trip? Mm-hmm. Johnny was 6 months old. He was in a bassinet. And we had our own bus, and we saw Israel. And at the end of the trip, I said to my children, what do you remember the most about our trip? They said, Grandpa, scream it. Did you all remember to take the soap? And I always have the soap.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, remember what we did? We went to
London and Paris.
London, and we took 4 apartments.
Yeah.
Each one had an apartment.
Yeah.
So it was great for us. We had the grandchildren, which we liked, and the grown-ups, they were able to go out, get rid of their kids. Nothing better than getting rid of your kids. And it was so much fun. The next year we went to Paris, and we did the same thing all over again. I don't think it's healthy that we have old people running the country. I don't think it's healthy for the Catholic Church that it's being run by people 75 and 80 years old. I don't think it's healthy for the court to have people who are in their 80s and want to stay in the job. Both as a Jew and as an American, I want to have feelings of freedom, capitalism. I want people to feel you can always do better than your parents did. Get an education, be free men and women. That's what I want for America, particularly you. One of the things I would like to do is have my children and my grandchildren do whatever they want in life, but there's certain things that I would prefer to happen. So my children are already married, but I'd like my grandchildren to know their Jewish heritage. Pesach is my single favorite day of the year. The Seder is the best day of the year. To me, the 2 most important things a human being can do for his family is love and give your children an education. And those are the 2 things that the Jewish people stand for. But I talk about more loving your family. That's why I like the Seder. It takes place in your home. It's the best way to do things. And then say, what can you do for your children? What you can do for your children most is raise them knowing that they have absolute love and the best education so they can stand on their own 2 feet. And by the time they leave your home, you've given them everything they need for a successful life themselves. Be serious and also have fun. Enjoy life, because life can be lived only once. Enjoy it.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, David.
That was our prop budget. Happiest of happy birthdays to the world's best storyteller, fiction or nonfiction. And we wish you
The best day ever. And every day being the best day ever.
Happy birthday
from South Orange.
from a place with so many incredible memories.
Hi! In honor of your birthday, we've got a couple of gifts. First, we have a beautiful Corvette shirt. And then we have So, together, we would like to sing you a beautiful rendition of what we think will be your favorite happy birthday song ever. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Papa!
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Papa.
Happy birthday.
Been 90 amazing years. I would say the best thing in the 90 years is the family that you've created, and we're excited for the next generation. So, this Noah is only 3 weeks old. The original Noah lived to 950, so here's to 860 more years. He doesn't really respect his elders yet. He's sleeping through this video, but he wishes you a happy birthday as well, and can't wait to celebrate with you for another 860 years.
Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a Papa. Feliz cumpleaños a ti.
Happy birthday, Papa.
Happy birthday. With love from Madrid.
Don't make any plans for lunch tomorrow.